citizens to death. They will cover it. As a police inspector, he will cover it and say, no, he's a hoodlum. He will find one way or the other to plant a gun on the dead body. Say, after, we exchange gunfire, my boys exchange gunfire with them, and their firepower is more. So he was killed. These are innocent citizens that we are going about their normal businesses, killed by police officer or military for nothing. This man that is killed with a police inspector, Mondorque, he will cover it and blame the victim, calling him either a kidnapper, an armed robber, or anything. Today, he suffered the same fate. Do you see what we always say here? Anywhere you see injustice, it doesn't matter who suffered it. Please fight against that injustice. That is our motto. IPOB motto. You understand? That is why I'm going. Look at another news headline. It leads to another news headline. It said, 16-year-old girl commits suicide over alleged forced marriage in Kano. A 16-year-old girl that could be anything tomorrow, but she is dead. She committed suicide. Why? Because she was forced into marriage. That is a country you want us to continue being with them. In a country that is still stuck, people that are still stuck in 7th century. You want us to continue being with them? We are forced marriages. They don't allow women to go to school, just as they do by Taliban today in Afghanistan. And you want us to be as medieval as this type of people. This is a crime. It's a crime against us, dear friends. I'm telling you, for soliciting, forcing us. It pains me when I hear Britain or British High Commissioner Catherine Long. He said the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. I look at this woman. I look at British government. It pains my heart. So these are the people you want us to continue being with, so that women will not be allowed to get education. Instead, from 12 years old, they will be sold into forced marriage. Whereas if you try this in the United Kingdom, you will go life imprisonment. Do you see how they have sentenced us? Where they sentenced us to be? This 16-year-old girl, it doesn't matter who she is. It doesn't matter the tribe she is. Evil should be condemned. That is who we are. That is why we are making our own case. All these things is to showcase to the world that we are not supposed to be in the same country with this. It's just like telling India, okay, deal with Afghanistan from today will be part of India. You can never, no person will never accept it. Whereas these people, they don't want, they abolish women going to school. Just like you have in Sharia laws. Even not only women, they say Western education is evil. That is Boko Haram. And that is why they are closing schools everywhere. From Abuja schools are closed. To Nasarawa, to Kogi. They are systematically, going the way, implementing Boko Haram narratives. And the Nigerians don't see it. They don't know. They rubbish education in the whole of Nigeria. That is Boko Haram. ASU strike, they don't care whether you go to school or you don't go to school, because that is not their problem. After all, they are fighting against Western education. They want everybody to be zombies, zombieing around without any education, so that they can control you at wish. So that whatever their failure, the failure of the politicians of the government, they will tell you to go to mosque and pray. It is not them, it is God. That it is the God's willing. In churches, the same thing. They will tell you go to churches and pray. as zombies as you are, you will not think, and they will think for you. Do you see it? That 16-year-old girl, she could be an inventor tomorrow. Take that 16-year-old girl while alive. Take her to a country like even England. Right from her birth. Maybe she will become an inventor. She will become a scientist. Do you understand? But in the zoo, she is being forced into marriage. And she said instead of her going into forced marriage, let her die. She committed suicide. And Nigerians are not reacting about it. Because lives of Nigerians don't matter. They will see it as a story. Oh, it's a news. It happened in Kano. Now wow. Now this Ndugu self. Now wow. They are killing. You know Nigerians, the way they behave. But why he die now? He forgot marry now. Maybe the man a rich man. When you listen to Nigerians, the average Nigerian, the way they think. So sometimes whether you start regretting being a human being. Whether it would have been better for you to be created a tree. Because of living with this type of people with the type of mindset they have. Now why go there now wow. What if you're a rich man? Maybe in a rich man self. If for stay there, even if anything, you go to enjoy. Oh, Nigerians and done. Done. It's a pity. This quiet as headsmen turn Delta State High Court premises to grazing zone. That is it. They come with impunity. After all, now in Biafra land, it is the cows are being reared by Nigerian military, the Nigerian military, armed to the teeth. They are rearing, Nigerian military are busy protecting cows, rearing cows with guns. And you are telling me that we should continue in a very zombic place like this. Now we enter into a mess. I don't know why. Why this type of mess? I don't know. But we must continue. Now, let me Benue governors volunteer guards. Okay. Wait. I have many. Okay. Benue governor raise volunteer guards. You understand? And I applaud to the Benue state governor. He is trying, a lone voice in the midst of wolves. He is in the middle belt. There are other states in the middle belt. Look at Plateau. Look at even Nasarawa. Look at Niger. What they put there are the stooges, full and caliphate stooges. They don't care. After all, Solomon Lalong, the Plateau State Governor, he is the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. So he is busy cheering people that are killing his own people. Whereas in Plateau, they are annihilating villages, communities, sacking them, and replacing them with the Fulani. He is busy in his high place as a governor, being called the governor. Oh, he is the favorite of the caliphate. In other places like that, the same thing, Nasarawa, Niger State. All these people, they will never rise up. Instead, do you see? It's a very big pity. The Fulani, they understand politics. I used to say this. They understand the politics more than they are highly advanced in politics more than the indigenous population. Sometimes I say, I want somebody to call with good faith, because here we learn from each other. I am not Mr. Know-it-all. I want somebody to call and prove me wrong and say no, with facts and figures, and say no. oh, my comrade, what you are saying, you are wrong. That the Fulani, they are not the best. They are not good in politics. I want somebody to call me. You know, I like contrary opinion. As long as we are doing it to learn, not by, violence, as Nigerians used to do. Because the Nigerians, they don't learn. They want to impose that, no, they will be. We used to know, when our leader will be speaking on somebody we call, a Nigerian is we call. Our leader, when he will allow the person to speak and talk, when our leader will like to speak, he will say, no, you will continue ranting. Ranting, they call it ranting. He don't want to hear. He continue ranting like a broken record. Do you call to learn? Do you call to teach me or to rant? Allow me to make point so that you also, I will allow you to make point. That is how reasonable, arguments or discussions are being done. So this is what I like. I maintain till tomorrow that the Fulanis, they are masters in politics compared to the indigenous people in the zoo. I say, by none, the Fulanis are number one when it comes to politics. When you look at the events of things, there is something in my heart. I will say it now. Before we enter into the mention, well, I hope you will come in, please. But let me say this. Like I was listening to Dr. Lois Okachi's history. Yes, what happened? Yes. The 1966 coup. If they are the people that Igbo people or Easterners understand politics, do you know what they would have done? Let me tell you. Once they killed Sandoana of Sokoto, killed all these other people, Tafawa Balewa, killed all of them, even in the West. They should have killed even Nnamdi Azikiwe. It is not for a sin of his, no, but for political purpose. To send a political message that we are not doing this to protect our own. We are doing it for Nigeria. It's a political message. The Fulani, they know how to do this. Let me tell you this story, which I used to say here. When I will never forget this. There are some things that stick into my mind. It stick into my head, my brain. 2015, when the Buhari visited America, when he took office, the Buhari, President Trump accused him directly that if they should do something to protect Christians, or he will do it. Late Buhari said, no, it's not about Christians. It never had the insecurity in Nigeria. It doesn't have any religious undertone. Let me tell you this. Do you know that late Buhari was still in America? I think the day he is on the way coming, a mosque was bombed, I think either in Katsina or Kaduna or Kano. A mosque where people were worshiping on Friday and killed. Do you know that? Do you know what happened? Do you know what the message they sent? In order to solidify the statement of Buhari, it's a political undertone. Let me tell you that. Things are not, if you want to succeed in some things are not straightforward. As many of our Igbo people, many Biafrans believe, now be straight. No. Sometimes things are not straight. Things are done for political reasons. In order to send a political message, no matter you sacrifice that person, because the lives of millions of people is more important than the life of one person you will sacrifice. Do you understand? I told you in history, in Second World War, there is this man, I've forgotten his name. He's a Spanish, I think either Spanish or from a Dutch. But he lives in England as a farmer. He became the most important double agent. He was sent by Hitler, by the Nazis, to be spying, to give information on the Allied forces. But he met the Secret Service M16 in London and told them that, look, I am a spy for Hitler, but I look to what he's doing. They didn't take him serious. They said, look at this useless man. Who are you? He told them, I'm a spy. Until he gave them some facts and they shock. Now they don't want him to blow his cover. Listen what I'm telling you. The Allied forces, the M16, they didn't want him to blow his cover. They tell, okay, we'll be giving you information to be furnishing to Hitler. In order to deceive him, he became a double agent. Now, do you know, sometimes military operations will be planned against, in England, against Germany. Now, M16 will leak this information to this man. Say, go and tell this. Go tell it to Hitler. Hitler loved this man too much because he gave them accurate information. Do you know what? The British used to sacrifice the lives of few of their soldiers in order to continue making Hitler to continue trusting this man. Do you understand what it means? That is politics. It is better to lose a battle than to lose a war. That is it. It is better to lose a battle than to lose the whole war. There was a very big operation. You understand? Clandestine commando operations behind the enemy line.
Mazi, sorry. The name of the guy, is it Guan Ujol?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Maybe. It's not in my head now. But I was talking about this man.
He helped in the Normandy landing. He made it,
He is yes, he made it possible. The Normandy landing. Yeah. He's the person that made it possible. This man.
In 1944.
Exactly.
June 1944.
Yes.
His name is Guan Ujol.
Okay. So, this man, what Britain used to do, they can sacrifice the lives of few soldiers, even if up to 100, no problem. They planned this operation to go and sabotage the enemy line, big guns of the Nazis, of Germans. They need to parachute these people behind the enemy lines clandestine in the night. In all that time, the radar was not as sharp as now. So the M16, without knowing, the M16 went and leaked this thing to this man, said, tell it to, they are coming. He gave them the accurate time. And this man sent the message to Hitler. And Hitler prepared his boys, waiting for them the place they land. And these few hundreds of soldiers, many of them were even captured alive. They were slaughtered. What am I trying to tell? This is politics. You sacrifice some people in order to save everybody. So, had it been our people are political, they have political knowledge. But not in politics is highly sophisticated. It's not other thing they are playing. That is criminality. Had it been they know what these coup plotters, what they would have done, kill East, kill West, kill North, it doesn't matter. Don't so that that one they would have killed Azikiwe to send message that by now no person BBC cannot say it's a Igbo coup. No person will believe them. They'll say, but look at they killed Azikiwe. So Azikiwe is even their main man. So that argument will not hold. That is politics, for goodness sake. Our people lack politics. They every time they do things with sentiment. And this is where Yakaina suffer today. Is it not, Wanda? I don't know whether you want to come in. Wanda, please.
Yeah, I will start with the agent. Like his real name was what I gave you, but his agent name was Gabo. Maybe that's the one you're familiar with. Gabo. Yeah.
That is Gabo. It. That is it.
Yeah. That was his agent name. And he was regarded as somebody that saved the humanity because of the sacrifices he put up. But now, reacting to all the news you have said, I'm going to start by saying, treating the security thing, I'm going to be very brief. Talking about the reason why, we have to look at that, because you asked, it was more like a question. Why is it that the security outfit that is at Motoku, they are doing what they're supposed to do. Even as the governor of Benue State have set up his own now, that's the mission and the vision he has for them to tackle, dictate the infractions of the Fulani headers, to stop them or slow down the Fulanization of his people, or displacement of his people through all this ethnic cleansing that is going on. But when it comes to our own, the so-called Ebubago, because we are talking about all these security outfits that are, were set up by the so-called state government. Our own is the reverse. The argument becomes, which is going to hinge to what we're about to discuss today, the reason. That's the main thing. Reasons are always the vision or the mission of whoever that is trying to do something, whether it's the conversion or whatever. Look at the reason why it's being set up. When the Eastern governors came together, they did not come together to tackle the insecurity in Biafra land. They came together to work against the insecurity in Biafra land. What do I mean? Because there was already an outfit. First of all, there was a vacuum. Nobody was policing, nobody was checkmating, nobody was looking after our people as they were being maimed, killed in cold blood day when they go to their farms. Nobody was doing so. Mazi or Hamadike set up the Eastern security. You would think that these people, the so-called our elites, both religious and political, would have rallied around him, whether they directly support him or not, but at least the vision and the mission of Eastern security were spelled out. They were not there to disrupt. They were there to protect and bring harmony. What did they do? And they made an announcement. They set up a counter security outfit, not to secure the people, but to work against that security outfit that have been set up to secure the people. That is the problem. So the problem is us. Even as we continue to watch what is going on in Biafra land, people are now beginning to use the Bubagu as a weapon to fight their enemies on a personal level. So we are the problem. Whether a Bubagu is made up of Fulanis, made up of people from the riverine area, we, the indigenous people, are the ones allowing it to be, because this is our land. It's our land. So until our people begin to psychologically understand that we are destroying us, and then begin to rise up to work against anything and everything that have been set in motion to eliminate, destroy us as a people, Mazi will continue to be the instrument that is going to be working against us. And that is the sad news. And that is where what we are doing comes to play. Whether you come to religion, whether you come to political, like you said, when it comes to things of life, especially politics, there's a gray area. This gray area is what really decides things. Even when you're having an argument with somebody or logic, there's always a gray area. Because life is not about black and white. The solutions are found at the gray area. Decisions are made at the gray area. Look at what is happening. That is what you wrote about, being politically savvy. You mentioned it when the coup took place. I think it shouldn't have been spared, because that will send a strong
Of course, I used to argue this right from time. It shouldn't be spared for political reasons.
Yes, Mazi. Because somebody has, even what we're talking about now, I invoked it last time. There are people who have altruistic life, behavior, personality. Mazi is sacrificing his comfort. Mazi is sacrificing his whatever, he could have gone the other way, becoming rich or whatever, but he's sacrificing them for us. Granted, he's not dead. He could have been dead. But he made up his mind, I'm going to do this to save these people. What I'm trying to say, even when you work it from the biblical point of view, somebody makes a sacrifice for things to be. Even when they tell them that salvation is given free. Salvation may be given free to you, from you, the recipient. but to the giver, in this case of the Christian Bible, from God himself. Salvation we're talking about cost him everything according to the Bible. According to the Bible, so the only begotten Son. God threw that on this scale. According to the story of the Bible, if you understand that, if Yeshua died and did not resurrect according to the Bible, God would have ceased to be God. So to God, it cost him everything. But to the recipient, maybe it's costing them nothing, which is a different subject. I'm not going there. Look at how the Fulanis are playing what you just said, Mazi. Do you see how they're calling out Buhari's leadership? That he has done nothing for them. With everything he has done, all the ministerial appointments are all Fulanis. Everything he has done was geared towards benefiting the Fulanis. We have been completely neglected. He took a naval base into a desert where there is no water. Nobody has ever done anything like that. It's called naval base. Now he's building up Niger because they believe they want to destroy Nigeria, and then they can go to Niger, which is their real home. He has done all these things. In public statements, his body language, his actions, he has not shied away. But look at how they're smartly playing it, calling him that he has failed.
Wada, do you know Wada? Let me just cut in there. Wada, just 1 second before you cut.
This so that we, so-called Southerners, stupid and emotional, just like you have called that Mazi, will say, oh, even his own people don't like him.
Yes, Wada, that is what I want to say.
All the attempts they have made into trying to say they're trying to kill him. If they really wanted to kill him, they would have killed him. Because there's no security in Nigeria.
Wada, can you hear me?
But they are doing all these things to carry that story or that impression that even they themselves are against Buhari, when in truth and spirit, they are not. Go ahead, Mazi.
So what I want to put in there, that is the politics. To make it seem, I was speaking one time of with a Biafran that he said he was in Daura in 2020 to serve his NYSC, to serve his youth corps in Daura. I shouted, I said, what? 2020 yesterday? You are not afraid? He said, my brother, not so. We started talking. He said, but even his people are now crying. But he said, everything, what he built there, roads everywhere paved, things, every amenity is there. But now they started saying that, look, this man, they are shouting, Buhari didn't do anything, this and that. They will attack him if he comes. This is what is called politics.
That's
so
politics.
That it will make
politics
it look
like,
Mazi. Yes, it will make
that it.
Let me land. It will make it look. It will make it look like
personal grudges or vendetta against Obi. But Obi has been set up to destabilize, to confuse, to derail our agitation, even though they will not succeed. Because let me tell people what they don't understand. When it comes to ideology, just like volunteer group, it's not easy to defeat them because it's something you believe in, which is segueing into what we're about to discuss today. Philosophy is not easy to defeat. It's an idea that you have if you truly believe in it. It's not something you wake up 1 minute and then you forget about it. It's just like behavioral line. So, what am I trying to say here? What that Obi has come to do is to destabilize. And our people are gushing out. Gushing out. You're not even going back to his old history, which is what IPOB is trying to bring out. Because when you are gushing out like this, even if you want Obi to be the next president, the way our people has come about it will make other people to reject him. Say it's a sectional thing. You all are running around him because it's your own. You don't have to make it a personal thing that he is our own. You should make a strong argument why he should be the right person to be there and why he should not be the right person to be there. But not emotionally following him, talking about Anambra governor. It doesn't matter the number of people he has killed, what he killed while he was the governor. We must sweep it under the rug because it's one of our own. Really? So then what do you expect other people to say? So that means It doesn't matter how corrupt their own person might have been. I'm talking about the person of Tinubu now. All the things that happened at Lekki to the people killed, all the manipulation he has done, all the money he has embezzled. The same thing with Atiku. Atiku was banned from entering United States because of money laundering. So if you are running around Obi like this because it's your own, what do you expect other people to do? They should rally around their own because it's their own. It doesn't matter whether they are right people or right person or not. And that is what has destroyed the politics of the Africa and Nigeria in particular. People should rise. People should advocate for somebody because of their experiences, their past events, their past stories. It's right there on the public domain. Because if you ask me, none of these people is qualified. Even though I'm not into Nigerian politics, I'm not interested. But let's be honest that none of these people are qualified to lead the so-called one Nigerians. So that's where the problem is. And we don't know how to play politics. We, the Biafrans, don't know how to play politics.
We are zero.
Even when it comes to religion, Mazi, I'm going to stop
please, let me come in, please.
Yorubas, Mazi. The Yoruba person. Go ahead, Mazi.
Our people, you know what is 0.00, even minus.
Yes.
In politics.
Yes.
You see, what I was saying before, why these people were now shouting in Katsina in the north, so that it will be as if everybody is shouting of marginalization, this and that, so that when you talk, they say, but even in Katsina, they are his
even
people, they are, you know,
yeah.
That is politics, for goodness sake.
That's the politics. I mean, well, okay, he has failed as a not he has failed as a Fulani man with all he did. Now you want another Fulani man to come in. So that's what they are trying to separate, that, oh, he did not fail because he's a Fulani man. He fails as an individual. So we're dealing with it. Meanwhile, it's a lie. It's a decoy. That's what they're doing. You know, like what I was saying, Mazi, even when it comes to religion, this is where our people are so lacking behind. Mazi, you will see look at the example is Tinubu and his wife. Take it or lump it. Tinubu is a Muslim. The wife is a Christian, according to them, even a pastor. Mazi, I am telling you, if Tinubu and his wife were Igbos, that marriage will never stand. It does not matter. I'm telling you, they cannot coexist in that house. Even people from two different denominations as Christians is a problem in Igbo family.
We used to enter things with
make more,
with senselessness.
These people know how to coexist. They know how to play within the gray area to achieve what they want to do. Now they're trying to use Tinubu's wife as a decoy or as a reason why you should trust him, invoking or selecting another Muslim as his running mate. Even our people are making the argument. Juyi Bokwe made that argument. And I think
they are the people that brought out not that they made the argument, they are the people that brought out this argument. They are the people that brought it out. Igbo man sense now.
Yeah, Igbo man making the argument. Oh, well, actually, the wife is a pastor or she's a bishop, whatever she is. If they could coexist and Tinubu did not convince her to become a Muslim, oh, she's in charge. She's going to represent us. She's going to protect we non-Muslims. They forget that this woman is just a wife. She's not going to be part of the cabinet, okay? The argument becomes how much influence did somebody like Osibanjo, the vice president, and a man too, that has a cabinet, how much influence did he have on this administration? Zero. Now you're telling me a wife is going to have influence. But that's how they are doing it. And a lot of our people are even supporting and buying it. They are the one making the argument. Like I said, if they were Igbos, or let me talk about Igbos. If they were Igbos and the husband is cherubim and seraphim, the wife is Catholic, this thing will be they can't even coexist in one family. I am telling you, Mazi. So that's the problem we have. We have not learned how to play politics. That's why it's called playing. It's a play. It's a game. We have not learned how to do it to achieve our goal. We are looking at politics as cut dry. Either it's black or it's white. And that is why we continue to have this problem. Until we are fine-tuned to that level of psychology, Mazi, we'll continue to have a problem. And that is where Radio Biafra comes in. And that is where what Mazi has galvanized us, those who understand the mission. That is why we are following.
Of course, Wanda.
As we segue into the program,
you know,
today,
as you said,
work this and bring them out as we move along, man.
As you said, people like one clip I used to play. The man called the Igbo people the apolitical, which is right. Is the right word, and he made a comparison with the Jews. The Jews, they were scattered everywhere, right from before Christ. Their land was under conquest, series of conquests, from Babylon to Persia, Persia to Rome, Roman Empire to Nazi, Arab, Ottoman to from one place and now pass on like they are like football in the legs of players. Why were they undergoing this series of things? They meant it because they were apolitical. They didn't know politics until one major event came and galvanized them. And that major event was the killing, the massacre, the genocide. They have been undergoing genocide, but it used to be sectional. Jews in North Africa, for example. They will kill Jews in Morocco. Other Jews will say, it's not ours. From time to time, they will kill Jews in Iran. Other in Europe, they say, no concern us now. Though they are Jews, but the Iranians are beg, no concern them. They didn't know the importance of being galvanized together. Sometimes they will kill Jews in Portugal. They will slaughter them. And those in Germany, other places in Europe will say, now Portugal, no concern us. Until the major thing came. It took them almost or more than 2,000 years for their eyes to open. Sometimes I become afraid. I say, God, so what is happening? We have to suffer another going to 2,000 years after suffering for 400, going to 500-600 years now, slavery and everything. So we need to suffer more and more before we now know ourselves. Be political. I say, God, it's really scary. The Jews, they suffered for more than 2,000 years before the final genocide that broke the camel's bones of 1939 to 1945. They have been undergoing genocides everywhere, but it became sectional. It was sectional. In Russia, they will kill maybe 300 at a time, burn their goods, burn their properties. Others will not look at it as anything. So what am I saying? Being political is very good in people's lives. It's number one thing. Had it been, let us reverse the case of 1966 coup. It was the Fulani in charge, everything, the caliphate. And now they planned that coup in order to save Nigeria. Before God and man, they will sacrifice one or two of their politicians. Not that they want to do it, but to send a political message that they are not, tribal. That is it. It's a political message. That person.
But you know who did it in West Africa, Mazi? You know who did it in West Africa, and that was why he turned the country around. Jerry Lawrence, he did it.
Of course.
That was what our
people, we believe,
out, irrespective of their tribe.
Our people, we believe that we are smart.
So that's what you must do. But like you said, our people, like Mazi, I'm going to put it as a question. I know you have the answer. Then we can segue. This thing, because when you use that word apolitical, some of us might get it, some of us might not really get it. So I'm going to put it as a rhetorical question because I know you have the answer, Mazi. The Jews, what was the lightning rod? What was the North Star that brought them together to realize that we must rise above sectionalism, or whether it is religious, whether it was political, to look at this North Star and save ourselves from extinction? What was it, Mazi?
In my own analogy or view, I can say, first of all, the persecution became universal.
That was the lightning rod.
Exactly.
But what was their North Star? Something they have to be looking up to and said, we must galvanize under this particular umbrella.
No, it is their religion.
That is where we are.
Their religion.
That is what the project of restoration of Biafra under Mazi is. If our people can come together and realize that whether it is politics, whether it is religion, affiliation, or division, that the only thing that should matter to me and you is the project of Biafra. And that is why it's called our religion.
Of course.
Our religion, in the sense that this particular religion called Biafran restoration should transcend, must transcend every other feelings I have, every other affiliation I have as a Biafran. It must rise above it, transcend above it. That's the only way that will become our North Star. As long as we don't have this particular North Star, that is why you see some people playing West, playing East, playing South, and North. So that's what I was trying, because the Jews came to a point. The persecution was their rallying ground, what brought them together.
So what energized them, the common persecution
should rise, should transcend above every other ethnic differences they have, every other religious, because at the time you're talking about, you have the Jews in Russia. Some of them were Christians, some have converted to other religion just to save themselves. Some have affiliated themselves with some political groups just to save themselves from persecution. But they realized that even running into these enclaves, whether it was a political this thing they ran into, a group they ran into, or religion they converted into, could still not save them as a Jew, because those who were prosecuting them saw them as Jewish. They did not see their political affiliation. They did not see their religious affiliation. So when they realized that the only thing that could save them was to come under that umbrella as a Jewish state. And that became their North Star, and they pursued it. And that is what Nigeria Biafran project is. And until we get it, all of us get it, all these squabbles, all this running around, all this going east and west will continue to make this project difficult. I know it must be actualized, but it's going to be delaying it, Mazi. That was what I was trying to bring it. Thank you.
Of course. When our leaders say that Biafra is our religion, maybe some people might not be understanding it. If you don't make it our overall religion, we shall never succeed. It is impossible.
That's the argument I was
because
bringing,
you will see something. You will see something, another thing you believe that is more important than Biafra. That is why, do you remember at the beginning, our leader was even discouraging directly people from attending Yoruba churches. He understand that is a method in order to drive the point of what Biafra should mean for you. Because if you continue in that way, if you have any other ideology more important than Biafra, which means that ideology or that religion can tell you, stop this, Bible say you should not undergo into political, and Biafra is, and that is what is happening.
And which is what is happening, Mazi.
And you will stop it.
Into it. That's what is happening.
You will say no,
but
because
look at that, when I bring it, because Mazi, when I was transitioning from religion to spiritualism, which is what I use that word, and I don't use it loosely. That I say I'm a spiritualist. I know what I mean by that, because spiritualism transcends all religion. Mazi, when I was in my quest, trying to find out which religion is better or better than the other, which is where I came to the conclusion none is. They all have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. I worship in Yoruba churches. I worship in different denominations, Mazi. American church, I worship. I went through the process to be where I am, Mazi. What I found out is that Yorubas, whether it is Catholic, whether it is spiritual, whatever religion a Yoruba man has engaged in, has nothing to do when it comes to who they are. They stand as one. That their language, that their culture transcends whatever religion.
And one that is how it's supposed to be.
That is why it's like they are playing the game
unapologetically. That is how it's supposed to be. Go on, Mazi. Go on, Wada.
Yeah, I just made the point. That's the point I'm trying to bring in, that even Yorubas are playing it better than us. They know the game.
Wada,
no matter their denomination, even political denomination, they still come under the umbrella of one as Yoruba when they see their own. Because with everything Tinubu did, look at how they are running around him. And then you have Igbo people throwing their weight behind him because they're being given $1 or $2. So to them, the project of getting themselves together as a group of people so that they can unleash their God-given potential is secondary to the money they are getting, because that is the idea they have in their head. Money, 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 money. You called it out yesterday in your program, Mazi. It's all about wealth, physical wealth. But they forget that what tarries after our exit here, or we have finished our journey here, is memories of what you left behind. What you did, how you impacted this life, how you impacted this universe. What are your footprints? That's what is left behind. Not your wealth, not your physical acquisition of whatever you think it is, because they will not matter at that time. But this set of people, Fulanis, even look at the Fulanis, the Hausas, they know that these Fulanis are not indigenous to Nigeria. But look at how they're able to get them together. The Hausa man might grumble at the back, the Christian Hausa might grumble.
I don't know what prompted it, and we must continue in every way around, because the restoration of Biafra is 360 degrees. I have realized since IPOB that we are apolitical. We don't understand politics. Right from the who is the highest in Igbo land to the lowest. That is why Igbo meetings, look at them, go to Igbo meetings. Before you know, they divide it into pieces. Before you know, where you 2-3 Igbos gather to talk, they start fighting because they are political. They don't know how to put things, even words, where there are a group of people, so that no person will feel, no person will feel either cheated or
left out,
feel bad.
or marginalized.
Yes. That is because you are a political human being, you are sentimental. This world, as one other said, is not black and white. There are many colors. There are the way you can tell somebody you're a liar, and the fight will break out. But you can intelligently tell somebody, oh, what you say, you're right too. But there are some untrue things in it. There are things that are not really the same, or how it is. In a group,
it's called positive communication.
Yes.
Even though you want to
means of communication, we don't know how to communicate.
I agree with most of the things you said, but this is where I need clarity, or where I would.
Yes. Instead of rising up and saying, "Oh, you're a liar," it's okay.
It's more settled. It's softer than when you say you are a liar. You say, I just disagree. Because that time you're leaving room for more discussion. You're not condemning, you're just saying, I don't understand or I disagree. It's better for the individual to consume it, the consumer to consume, when you say you are lying. Even though in the process you have told the person, I just didn't act, but you just lied to me, or I don't believe you, but you don't use that word. It's called positive expression of words. You get the same thing said without it sounding harsh to the recipient, but you have communicated with the person. But it will come out and say, oh my God, I am the one. Who tells 100% truth? Nobody on earth can tell you 100% truth, because that individual telling you, I'm always a truth sayer. When they are cornered in a situation, they'll be bound to lie. That's life. That's life experiences. So the question becomes, when is it the right time to tell the absolute truth? And when is it the right time to do what is needed to save lives? Whether it is your own life or somebody else's life, that's a subject of another discussion, Mazi. That's what you're trying to do.
Of course. We must continue. We have taken a lot of time anyway, of which is not useless anyway. We should understand the type of world we are living. Sometimes you have to play some things for the benefit, for the overall benefit of the community. Not for your own personal benefit, or for in order to maybe to save one person so that everybody will go aground. That is rubbish. That is what the 1966 coup plotters did. They will tell you, why should we kill Azikiwe? He is a very good politician. He didn't do anything, this and that. Yes, it's not the point. There are some other things you fail to address. The feeling of other people. If it is you, what will you do? What will you say? If they kill others and they didn't kill any of their tribe, what will you do? You will
because that was how the same
be
people
in their shoe and understand it.
They saw them as although, but from your point of view, saw them as bad.
Exactly.
To have
although nothing,
eliminate all of them, take care of them, and everybody will feel justified.
Nothing justifies the genocide they committed. You know, because they always push us into going back to even pre-war, what happened before the war, of which they killed thousands and thousands of our military, which should suffice. But coming to kill civilians, killing everybody, pregnant women. In 1994, we saw, I used to say it here in this hallowed platform, we saw how some tribe, the Tutsis, the Tutsi rebels, they called them that time, how they shot down and killed the then president of Rwanda, who is a Hutu, with the other members of his cabinet, other military officials, who all of them one tribe, Hutu. And it sparked off the Rwandan genocide. But the world didn't say, oh, because you people killed their president first, and they killed, annihilated the Hutus, other Hutus, high-ranking officials. Now, what you did is right, so let us leave it like that. You see the hypocrisy. Instead, they say what happened to the military should remain military. Ordinary people on the streets going on doing their normal business, nothing concerns them. So people are taking responsibility into what happened, into the genocide. Or because I saw a similarity between what happened, the cause of Rwandan genocide and the cause of the Biafran genocide. But in our own case, every time they go back to killing of Ahmad Bello as if the lives of millions of people, you know, it is okay. And the international community, they will see it, they allow it, and they are still talking tough. Anytime they make us to start going back, 1966 coup, without letting the people understand that, look, it doesn't matter military kill politicians or politicians kill military, military kill military. It should not be a rallying point in order to give people rights to kill civilians, commit genocide. We see it we saw it in Rwanda. People are suffering. People are being held into accountability in Rwanda, serving jail terms in Rwanda because of what happened. Why is our own different? Every time the same story. They will tell you,
because the people that are supposed to make the case for us are not making it. That's the point. That is, I'm going to say this. This is why, I'm so great. I'm happy, not grateful. I'm happy so far. I'm watching to see how it unfolds. The introduction of history in Anambra State is I like it, it's a welcoming experience. I hope other states in Biafran land will invoke, reverse, and let's start having history. Because if you don't know your past, how do you know where you're going? The people that are supposed to advocate, speak up for us, are the ones that encourage history to be suppressed. Because there are people, Mazi, that is what is wonderful about what is happening on Radio Biafra. There are history that are being revisited. There are history that are being told today that a lot of grown-ups do not even know,
of course,
the cause of the so-called genocide or even what happened. That is why they're easily swapped. That is why they're easily mesmerized when people bring this argument, because if you do not know your facts, how do you make an argument? You cannot. Not even a sound one or a valid one. So that's the problem we have. And that's why we must continue, Mazi. Nothing is a waste of time. Because it's like a school. Some people may know, some people may not know. Some people, this is the first time they may be hearing it. So that's why we must continue to pound it, Mazi, no matter what it takes. And at the fullness of time, it will yield a good fruit. Thank you, Mazi.
Yeah, well, let me also say, because there are many things to say, honestly, and news headlines. He said,
I know, Mazi, yes.
Alleged blasphemy. Why that we must, let our people understand what is happening. Alleged blasphemy. Some killers of Deborah Samuel fled to Niger Republic. Sokoto government never interested in their prosecution. That is it. That is how it is. Do you know? Oh God Almighty. We always say this. I always say this. Our people should learn politics from this caliphate. I'm telling you. Our people should learn. You know, the killers of Deborah. You know, the other time they said they arrested two, and there was a protest, violent protest, which Igbo people, Igbo properties also looted. And you know, they became released secretly. And many of them have now gone to part of the zoo, which is the Niger Republic. And nobody is interested. Who will go and arrest them? Do you see it? Imagine that it's in our land, for example. It is the Igbo politicians that will be, they will even be, hey, bring these people, kill them, kill them, kill them, kill them.
And that is why this relationship between Amazonia, the English speaking, and us must be strengthened.
Of course.
In a case like this, where do you go? We don't have a place to go.
They smartly cornered us. You know, they care for their people. That is why, you know, this northernization agenda, that is why one of the reasons, even Britain just saw that these people, they are protecting their own. So help them. Forget about this other useless set of people. Nnamdi Azikiwe gallivanting to be Nigeria president. He want to be a president of something he didn't know why they created it. All that matters is his personal interest. I think I preached it day before yesterday about the absurdity of trying to fix Nigeria. We see it. Okay. How Buhari government spent 1.2 billion naira on vehicles for Niger Republic amid poverty in Nigeria. Budget deficit. Oh, that is it. Now, last but not the least, as I want
to. But Mazi, before you go to the last or the least, Mazi, this money, I've been thinking, when I had this news, I chuckled. My own argument is this. This money Buhari spent, because we keep talking about Buhari. There's something we are neglecting. Buhari cannot just sign up a check to give this money to Niger Republic. The members of the Senate are part of all this shenanigans going on. He just couldn't have signed this money. This is the same Senate that were coming out and pretending they want to impeach him. The same Senate that are coming out and talking about his government has failed. He goes back to what we're trying to say, because the leaders in this Senate are Fulanis. This is the same Senate. The governing body of the University of Nigeria have been shut down for how many months? Because the lecturers are looking, and I believe they're looking for better working condition or payment, and then improvement on the students' environment and stuff like that. The government has not been able to reach a consensus with this body. Look at our hospitals. We have little or no. We have no hospital existing, not in existence. Look at the roads. Look at the insecurity. But yet, the members of the Senate, both higher and lower chamber, came together and appropriated this money for another country. And some of them are coming out to defend it, that we need to help our neighbors. How can you help your neighbor to put off his own fire when your house is almost consumed by a fire too? It doesn't make sense. But who rises up to contest about it? Who is rising up to protest against it? Nobody. So why would they not continue to do what they're doing with impunity? Because you know what? Niger is their real country of origin. That's why they're preparing it. They know the oil is going to run out. It's a matter of time. That is why they're using all the oil resources, whatever resources they're getting from Nigeria, to build up their actual country. Because when you check from article to all of them, their origin goes back to Niger. But you are asking the question because that is not part of Nigeria. Why are they treating the train? They wanted to reconstruct or restart the train tracks. The one that was given to go from Maradi to Niger or Niger, wherever to Niger, has a double gauge, the modern one. But even the one they were proposing for the southern is one single gauge. Even Amechi, who is coming from the south, is telling you that even the so-called single gauge that's proposed for the southern, they don't even have money for it. But the one in Maradi, from Maradi to Niger, they're already taking the loan to build it. So you begin to ask yourself, these people, where exactly is their real country? Niger, of course. But the argument again becomes, Why are we, as indigenous people of Nigeria, being culprits to continue to help these people to do what they're doing? That's a bigger question. I don't know whether we can answer it or not.
Of course. You know, they are building, they always have options. They make available their second option. Whereas our own people, we swallow everything hook, line, and sinker, including religion. Once we swallow it, we demonize our own thing and say, no, this new thing is the best. No. And I see it as a sign of people that are really apolitical. When people is apolitical, they are foolish. They are simply stupid. Nothing more. These people in our presence, they are building Niger, railway. You know, these are the ones news carry. You don't know how many billions of dollars they are being given. They are giving Niger Republic every year in other things, which news they don't allow news to carry. You don't know, because they are trying to prepare in case another option. What option? What
Nigeria
option?
collapses, they run down there.
What,
What
other option do we have? Nothing.
Look at what is happening in the east.
Nothing.
They are using the military to protect the animals, cows. And when you call it a zoo, they are angry. You're using military armed to protect cows roaming the street. Meanwhile, you cannot even secure human beings in the same country, and it's okay. And the eastern governors are allowing this to be. Tell me how, if you go to the north, a northern governor would allow the military to be protecting our brothers and sisters that are selling alcohol, protecting their shop from being damaged or their goods from being damaged. Tell me if it can ever happen. It will never happen. But look at what our people are doing. So it goes back again. We are our real problem. We are our own problem until we get it. And it's from grassroots, Mazi. Because everyone is talking about the governors. I continue to argue. We are the ones, these governors, these House of Assemblymen, whatever you call them, they are picked from us, within us, among us. So they reflect exactly who we are, whether we like it or not.
Why are those that are leading? Those that are leading Ebubago, showing them the way? Are they not our people? Are they governors? Are they politicians?
No.
Are they not ordinary people?
Yeah.
What of those? Go to our land today. You see, if there is a military checkpoint, there are, the people that, you see young men that they use either to collect money or that gives them information. Are they governors? Are they senators? Tomorrow they will grow, perfect themselves in sabotage, and they become governor, and you will start shouting, oh, the governor. So, but as you say, right from the grassroots, show me your politicians, and I will tell you the type of people you are. It is as simple as that. It is not only the governors. Go to the grassroots and you see. What of the villages? You see? So it's not something, it's only because the governors, they are that level. At the grassroots level, we have even people that can sell their own, only 500 naira. Oh boy, they want to eat. Nah, they want to eat. Or they will sell their own brother to be killed. Direct. That is the reason why our politicians are like this. But we are changing the status quo. We are changing the narrative. It cannot continue like this. Otherwise, we shall go into extinct. Direct extinct. That is it. So, as I said, there is this news headline also that said, only heaven has no security breaches. Nigeria is on earth. Buhari's minister, Festus Kayamo, defense government's response to insecurity in Nigeria on terrorist attacks. He says only heaven that has no security breaches. So why are you crying? But it is this same insecurity. It is the same this insecurity, Boko Haram attack, that made them, in order to pursue Jonathan, they continue clamoring on it. Oh, look at Boko Haram. They have taken villages in northeast. Oh, this and that. And they are the people sponsoring it. and they continue entering people's ears. Today, they are defending insecurity, you know. So they say they say no, it's only in heaven that there is no security breach. So what you are seeing in Nigeria is normal. It's normal thing. It's another afonja they are using because they use indigenous people just to in order to defend their political position. They defend the caliphate to the detriment of everybody. That is how it is. That is why I say the indigenous people in Nigeria, even is if not the great of Chukwu Kabiama, Fulani should have taken put everybody into extinction. That is the reality. Now, the last I want to say Nigerian police women's wives hold prayers in Kaduna, beg God to protect the husbands from bandits. That is what we are preaching here. They are praying for God to help solve insecurity. Do you see how bad it is in the mentality of our people? Whereas they don't understand that this is government making. Pray for God, pray to God from morning till night. Oh, and God decimated them. Oh, yeah. In this our modern time, if you don't put up the right political, the political method, you continue suffering. That is why.
But if God should be the one to protect people, why is it that you have security? This in detail.
Why PVC? Why PVC to elect?
Why do they have security detail for all these senators, as an assembly, all these governors? Why can't they pray after they're on the higher hierarchy of leadership? God should be. Can they hear? This person that is telling you, go and pray for God to protect you, to accord you security. The person turns around and is acquiring human security, practical, physical, before your own eyes. And somebody is coming, Mazi, I don't get it. I don't know. I just don't get it, Mazi. I don't get it. Maybe you can educate me or enlighten me, Mazi.
How do I know? Sometimes I want to give up on people in Nigeria. I want to give up direct because of the flawed way they reason. Because of the flawed way they reason. It is above me, honestly speaking. People engage in prayers for insecurity. People, I don't know whether I'm coming out clear because I'm seeing this thing just turned orange.
I am hearing you. I don't know about Hausa, but I'm hearing you. Let me check.
Okay, I think my voice is coming out clear. Sometimes he enters buffering and he's still talking. He said the Police Officers' Wives Association, Power, in Kaduna State has fasted and prayed to God to end the insecurity in the country and to dissolve the bandits and terrorists from killing their husbands. And let me say, the president of the Power, that is Police Women Association, is the wife of Inspector General of Police, Hajara Osman. She is the person that instructed their members to embark on a 2 days fasting and prayer to seek divine intervention. Yana Dia Kwacha, all these are useless.
But meanwhile, they have security guard detail. That is police and military, mobile police, guarding their home. In that vehicle she's traveling, she has an ugly with arms, with gun, AK-47 or even something higher than that. Probably 2 oddlies. And she's telling you to pray. And she believes in that prayer. Yes, she's not applying it. Can people wake up, Mazi? Why can't people say these things? It behooves me.
It is very sad indeed. One that we have taken a lot of time anyway, which is not wasted because no knowledge is a waste anyway. Now let's go direct to the topic of our submission today, or the topic of our discussion. It says the second part, motives for religious conversions. Motives for religious conversion. That is the real motives. You know, last week we discussed mainly about one of the true motives of this religious conversions, as deception, leading to mental conquest. We saw it in the letter, this real motive, in the letter of King Leopold II to the white missionaries in Congo, which generally portrays or reflects to the overall European intention of bringing Christianity into Africa. We read it, I read it yesterday, Saturday, that is last Saturday. I read it. Today, we shall talk about another motive of a religious conversion, which is a religious supremacy. That is what I want us to discuss. Religious supremacy. That is one thing you never really sit down to think about. Supremacy is all about us. And it's around us, it's all about us. And we should not be afraid to talk about the different kinds of supremacy in our various cultures. Supremacy is nothing more than thinking we are better than others on the basis of certain aspects of our identity or theirs. As I see it, religious supremacy is the idea that I am better than you on the basis of my religious practice. That is pure and simple religious supremacy. There are many reasons people give when they claim their religion has exclusive access to the truth, or the only way, or the only true way to spirituality. And the European Christianity, together with Arab Islam, exhibit this character, that they are superior to the indigenous peoples' religions, including Africans. This is why efforts were made through versions of evangelism to make sure to demonize our indigenous religion and join theirs. I don't know whether people understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: religious supremacy. When people want you, by one way or the other, it doesn't matter, they call it evangelism, urging you, pushing you to join their own religion or even denomination. It means that your own is inferior. So they have the exclusive way in order to get what you were using that your inferior religion to think. Do you see it? And which is lie from the pit of hell. The two religions that exhibit this character are Islam and Christianity. That is the reality. When you talk about evangelism, people don't understand. People might see it as normal, but when you look at it, it is to make you, they are preaching to you, your own is inferior. Come to my own. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the truth and the life. And you ask the person, our fathers that have been there for millions of years, they didn't know this religion. What is it that they are? Were they not human beings? Were they not behaving like human beings? Were they not doing their things? Why is it that it is now that everything now? No. This, and it's a religion that came 2,000 years plus, or a little above 2,000 years, and 1,600 years now. Christianity and Islam. All of a sudden, they become the true way, the only way. That is religious supremacy. That is what you should understand. As history has shown, any form of supremacy poses a threat to our society and the world in general. Religious supremacy is not different. The moment you see your religion as the only true way, you see yourself as better than the other people around you. You begin to see them as deficient. And as time goes on, inhuman. Before you know it, you have justified mistreating the people around you on the basis of these perceptions. This was how the Europeans had the justifications of massacring and enslaving the indigenous population of Africa with the pretext of saving them from their inferior religion. Do you see it? When you see somebody as inferior, or you see your religion as the number one, without it, you are lost. Now, which means the other person that is not in the same religion, you see him as inferior. Let me tell you what the Muslims call infidel. I think we have said it here. We have preached it here. The Christians call it either Gentiles or unbelievers. It is a pity that they left those statements in our mouths today, and we are using it to describe our own blood, our own brothers and sisters. It is something absurd. This is a foreign language. This is a foreign word that we didn't know. Under our religion, under our traditional way of worship, you can never call somebody an unbeliever or an infidel. You understand? It's in the Bible. Do not yoke yourself with equal with unbelievers. But when it's the Muslims kill infidels, you start complaining. But you call your own brother infidels. Do you see how mad you are? Do you see how mad you are? It's written, I think, in the book of Galatians. Now, there are many places they talk about unbeliever. And today, you carry Bible, you are evangelizing to your person as you calling him unbeliever, for goodness sake. And when Muslims come, they say Allah Akbar, they kill an unbeliever. You start shouting. Is it because they pacify your own religion today through human civilization? That is how they pacified Christianity. Is that why you see it as no, it's not the same. It is the same. Even your own is worse because it makes you demonize your own. It makes you demonize your own, what you shouldn't, because it is not our way of life. It is religious supremacy. There is no way, because religion is about belief. Belief. It has no fact. No fact, no figure. It is what you believe. I can believe anything. You can believe anything until it is proven. We are in a world of facts and figures. Yes, you can believe. Yes. But this belief and pushing your own belief, making it the only way, that is why this world it becomes a horrible world. If you understand? We have seen this cycle repeat itself time and time again. The impulse that animated the worst violence our world has seen, including chattel slavery, violent conquest, and ethnic genocide, is the same impulse that we are seeing around the world today, whether through Christian supremacist outlooks in white nationalist circles or Muslim supremacist views that break life into groups like ISIS, Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen, etc. All because you see yourself, that is religious supremacy. When you see your own religion, the Europeans, when you see your own religion as the only way, which means the other person that is not believing the same way, you are seeing him as an inferior person, which means if you have a way, you can do away with him. If you have a way, you can sideline him, even if he's the best. That is why Nigeria is a quagmire today. Oh, he's a Muslim. Oh, he's a Christian. It becomes something political in this 21st century. That is why we shouldn't stay together. Do you understand? Because all this we are seeing religious supremacy when it comes to Islam. That is why internally they support all these ISIS, Boko Haram, the Fulani headsmen in our land. Because they feel in any way they are Muslims. So they are on the right religion. So anything they do, as long as they are doing it to unbelievers, it doesn't matter. Do you see why it is very, very dangerous? Highly dangerous. The real motives of this religious Biafra is our ideology today, isn't it? It's our religion today. We see it above everything. And that is why we are here. Had it been we are seeing Nigeria as equal, maybe we wouldn't have been here. We would have been in Nigeria. Had it been Nigeria is good enough, we wouldn't have been. So we have another ideology, because Nigeria is inferior to what we are pursuing. Do you see how religion is? When you are preaching, is religious supremacy. Because what you are preaching to the person, for you, it is superior to what he is or what he believes. This is the mentality that made the Europeans took Africans as slaves. First of all, they saw us as infidels, people that should be converted. From their maltreatment, when you say no, you use your Igbo language or you use Swahili or Lingala, and tell them that look, they will say this is animal language. Do you see it? Because for them, as long as they don't know it, it is inferior. And it makes them now to start maltreating and killing people. Because they want to change you. They are savages. You have to change it by force. And it led to committing genocides, committing injustice, crimes in human history equals to none because of the belief. Because of the belief. So they saw them as a menace, as a threat. Do you understand? A time came, they say, instead of us killing all of you, we give you an option. Europeans, no matter what, they are enlightened. They have solutions, multiple solutions to different problems. They gather themselves, they talk to them and say, look, we know that we cannot change you through the barrel of gun or through sword. Otherwise, we kill all of you, but it will not stop it because it's an ideology. You people don't believe in the teachings of the Pope, which is what we believe, and that is why we are ruling. Now, we offer you an option. In order to go into mass exile, we will give you ships and you gather your families, you move out of Europe. And that's it. They did it. They gathered their families and they entered into many ships at once. Some traveled, they started going to South Africa, you are seeing today. The Boers you are seeing, most of them are the Huguenots. People that were persecuted for their religion, for being, what do you call it? Protestants in Europe, mostly in France. Now they traveled to places like South Africa. The white people that traveled to South Africa, most of them are these Huguenots, Protestants. Also to the Americas, to Mexico, to Americas in general. Now, do you know what? When they reached there, these people that were undergoing persecution, they still saw the indigenous people, saw them as inferior, their religion as inferior. Do you understand? And that is, you see, they forgot that they were being persecuted. But when they came, they saw these people as inferior. Their religion as inferior religion. And they started killing them in the name of converting them, in the name of serving them. If you don't agree, they will slaughter you. These are people that came from persecutions in Europe. Do you see what we are saying? That is human nature. They are doing this not to really serve them, but to impose their religion on them so that they will be able to be controlled. They will be controllable. Do you understand? That is the real motive. So it led to the slaughtering of people. It led to the slaughtering of people. Do you understand? People that didn't believe in what they believe, they started slaughtering them. Now, In one context, the most noticeable form of religious supremacy is that of today's evangelism. It is so embedded within our day-to-day lives that we have normalized it. Most of us don't even think of it as a form of religious supremacy. I don't know whether people understand what I'm saying. You know, sometimes you can look it as absurd, but it is a truth. In one context, the most noticeable form of religious supremacy is that of today's evangelism. It is so embedded within our day-to-day lives that we have normalized it. Most of us don't even think of it as a form of religious supremacy. This may seem inoffensive and unharmful on its face value, but evangelism or religious evangelism is nothing more than a religious supremacist wolf in sheep's clothing. The logic of evangelism requires one person to perceive the other person's faith as misguided, inferior, and indeed and in need of saving. When you save somebody, you can do anything to save somebody. After all, the Europeans saved us from our so-called inferior religion by buying us as slaves and killing us, hunting us as wild animals and killing us. But they are saving us. So, do you see how hypocritical all these things are? Charades. Historically, and even today, the gift of salvation has been weaponized time and time again to justify intervention and conquest. It becomes less than offering an alternative view and more about coercing another into accepting yours. Settler colonialism was fueled by this mindset. The first conversions, violent conquest, and the genocide against indigenous peoples throughout the Americas and Africa over the past 600 years have been motivated in part by the notion of religious supremacy. As we know, the world is constantly engaged in a struggle for power. And it is those with less power who end up in compromised positions, ultimately harmed through these uneven exchanges. So what am I saying here? That look, when we talk about religious conversion, today we discuss about, the motives of religious conversion, which is one of the motives is religious supremacy. Because when you don't see your own thing as supreme or more supreme to others, you don't need to convince somebody, you don't need to force somebody in order to enter into it by any way. Because you can force somebody by, what do you call it? You force somebody through inducement. You can use money, or you can use goodness. Let me call it goodness. You are very good to the person. Always, it is intimidation. You understand? Instead you lower your character. I mean, your normal behavior in order to be good. To be good. Europeans. Arabic conquest of or Arabization or Islamization. They came, they evangelized. That is their jihadism. Jihadism is evangelism. The same way you are after now the missionaries came, the European missionaries, and you saw what the King Leopold wrote to them. The motives of the Europeans. It's not about turning you, making you good, or making you develop, or helping you to develop. No, it is about controlling you. The way they put Africa today, the way they fashion Africa to be to their own advantage, where the Europeans will be making Africa and will be serving them, will be answering them, thanking them every day that they are the good people. You understand what I'm saying? So when you talk about this religious evangelism, there are many ways. Because people will start saying, oh, no, why is it religious evangelism now is talking? No. In our own way of life, originally, we don't need to tell somebody to turn to your own tradition. It's not allowed in our own way of life. It's not allowed because everybody, every people have their way of life. You go to that place, you respect it. They come to your side, you respect our own way of life. Now, why should I start converting you to start living like me? Why? Why? Do you see this evangelism? They did it in Japan. I think I said it, I've been saying it and I preached it the other time. Vote against their governments, against their kings, in order to scatter the country. Is this not what Ottoman Danfodio did to the Hausas? It came through preaching. It's through preaching, through religious preaching. It's evangelism. He turned their head and they started seeing their own brothers as demons. The same way they have turned you. Today, a Roman Catholic in my land, it cannot marry Jehovah's Witness. Jehovah's Witness say, no, how can I marry chosen? Chosen, is it not the same thing? They turn us against each other mentally. And if you are talking to somebody who will start preaching to you, quoting Bible. That is what we are saying here. I don't know whether you have anything to say. You continue before I come in more, please. Yes. We are rushing this.
Mazi.
We are rushing
it. I'm gonna navigate it from this to add to what you have just all these things you have said, Mazi, which is the argument today or the topic today is the real reason for religious conversion. I'm gonna take it this way. The truth, if we pay attention or do a little bit of deep thinking, is this: that those people, I call them the godfathers or the masterminds of each religious group, these people or the individuals, their main purpose of starting or setting up this religion or a particular religion is for control, power control. And when I use that word power control, it's both psychological, but others of these masterminds of these religious groups, that the whole idea was to bring you to salvation, to give you a better understanding, to connect you closer to God. So because of that, go and evangelize and bring the other person, because they don't have the access of what you have, that is the access to free communication with God through their own so-called religion. That's the whole concept. Because the person that is coming and ministering to you, let me take Christianity as an example, and I'm going to expand this. Like what you have been saying, Mazi. If Christians truly believe that the body of Christ is one, because they quote it all the time, why then should a Catholic trying to convert Methodists or whatever to come to their own group. If it's one. Because the people on top are telling you the body of Christ is one. That's the message they're sending when they want to dish out the message. But on the other hand, they're the same people telling you that denomination by denomination, there's a great difference. That these people are more better or more real or have more spiritual power or characteristics or qualities. They have direct access to God compared with the other group. And yet, it's supposed to be under one umbrella called Christ. So something is amiss here, something is not right. So now, that is why I said it's for political gain. Those on top is for political, psychological control to have access to you people. To control you, because once they can sell that message and then sell it to those foot soldiers, the rest is over. Now, he begins to see your fellow member in the community as inferior, just like you have said. From the point of view of these foot soldiers, they think they're doing the right thing. They think they understand. They think they know better. But the truth is that they're just being used as a weapon to continue or to go deeper into that community or group of people to control them for political gain, power, nothing more, nothing less. But when we go back and look, when the white man came or the colonizers came, that was the word they used. You read it, Mazi. There was an article, I think it was on your program this or 2 days ago on this, where you asked how one of them, one of the king, I think it was the king then, was instructing the people. When you go there, they already knew God, the true God. They already knew him. So don't talk to them about that. Okay? You're not going there to speak to them about spiritualism because they already knew God. Because that was not the intention. The intention was not really to bring spiritualism or spirituality to the people. Because the people already knew God. They were worshiping God. Like an article I wrote one time, I said, even though my ancestors did not know Christ, they knew how to worship. They knew. Take it to the indigenous religion. Why was it that the indigenous religion were not going anywhere trying to convert anyone? Because they truly understood that spiritual journey or religious journey is an individual thing. From individualism, you go to communal. But it should not be organized. Just like in our people, you have onye na chie, which is what you can call in Christian as a guardian angel. Onye na chie. They understood this. They were in communication with God. They were communing with God, the true God. But just to undermine them for political possession or control, when these colonial masters came in, they had to make them to believe that what they brought in was more superior than them, which is arrogance. That was how they came in. You must do that, because if you don't do that, if you make me to believe that my own way of worship or my understanding of religion or spirituality is the same or equal to yours, then there'll be no purpose of converting me. There'll be no use. There'll be no argument to convert me. So the first thing you do is to make me, undermine me to believe that what I have is less superior to what you have. And that is why I must cross over. That's conversion. Because if I don't have superiority of an argument or to make you to believe that what I have is superior to yours, then there'll be no need for conversion. Now, but look at what happened to these colonists. They used that weapon of this organized religion, came into our system, made our ancestors somehow by force, by coercion. They used a lot of multiple tools. Finally, they were able to subdue them, let them know that what they had on the ground, which was freedom of worship of religion, freedom of spiritualism. That was what our ancestors had before. We must understand this. They were able to destabilize them through the help of us, the foot soldiers. Like I call the foot soldiers, telling them to believe that what they were practicing was dark, was wrong. Finally, what did they do? They were able to colonize us. Because now we are now less human than them. What we believed in was less to what they had. So that gave them the, it looked like what they said, if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. So once they were able to achieve that, to have the majority of people believe that what they have been believing for millions of years is now, or was then more less superior or more inferior to what was brought to them, the conversion started. They were able to get us into slavery. When they first came, they didn't come as slaves, slave masters. They came as merchants. But once they were able to sow this seed and it grew, it made it easy and possible for even ourselves to start to sell some of us into slavery. Because I had a story that even in the olden days, when you have a child that you felt that was bad, you say, I'm going to sell into slavery. Because to you, the child was worthless. So that was the seed they sowed into us. But look at what has happened, Mazi. After they have finished using the weapon of religion to colonize us, to destabilize us as a people, and have absolute control on our daily lives and our lives overall, even in politics, because this is what is still going on today. Because there should be no reason somebody like P2B will have to go to London first to take permission from a colonial master that said that you guys have your independence now. He has to go there to take permission, and then they will advise him how to come and destabilize the country. If it's, again, look at this, the ambassador of the chancellor of Britain in Nigeria. She's not the only consulate. She's not the only ambassador in Nigeria. But because they're still asserting themselves at the power thereof, the power that controls us, because they know they have used religion and all that to colonize and continue to keep us down. She's running around with all the candidates. She's the only ambassador she's the only ambassador in Nigeria. She's the one traveling all over, controlling the political arena of what is going to happen in Nigeria. This is an ambassador. You can never see this thing happen even in the lowest country or the poorest country in the world, but it's happening. Because that is telling you that they are still holding us ransom. As far as psychological, mentally, physically, we are still in slavery. But look at what they did with themselves. After they came in and sold this religion to us as a weapon of conquest, to get us to be where they want us to be and continue to rule us, to hold us down. When they develop their own countries, like where I am today, United States, even in Britain, and other developed countries, now telling you something they call secular society. Now the argument becomes, what do they mean by secular society? Secular society is a community or a society where no particular religion transcends all. People have the freedom to choose what religion they want to worship, whatever they want to do. But the common goal or the North Star will be the upliftment and the goodness of that particular society. The argument for somebody like me becomes, didn't they go back to what they accused our ancestors of doing? Because when they came to us, that was the government that was on the ground. That was the political arena. That was the political atmosphere that was on the ground. People worshiped their own way. There was no particular way of worship that transcended all. There was no organized religion. Societies were free. People were free. They came in and introduced something to us, telling us what we had was inferior. But what did they do? After they had finished using the organized religion to marginalize us, to colonize us, to useless us, to debase us, they now went back to what our ancestors. But I felt it was important. But I'm going to take this argument today from a different perspective. Yes, we are discussing the reason why people for religious conversion. I thought about it, I said, now can we discuss why is it? What is it? What are the elements? What are the variables? What are the things that make this convert easier to be converted? What are the elements? Yes, we understand that the person that comes to colonize, the person that comes to convert you, believes, feels that what they have is superior to yours. Whether they truly believe it, from the perspective of the organizers, but the full soldiers, they truly believe it. But from the person that
What, are you still there? I don't know what happened. all of a sudden. Okay, we must continue. Okay, please, I understand. I think she should be back. Wada, you are back, right?
Hello, Mazi, can you hear me?
Yes, you are back.
Yes. Okay, there was a little brief. Yeah. Okay, so the argument I'm making here is this. When people do not psychologically believe in themselves that I'm better, I'm as good as the next person, then that person has made themselves vulnerable to be converted. Because in that case, you cannot make a sound argument. And the question becomes, why should it be so? A couple of things can be. Bad parenting. What do I mean when I use the word bad parenting? I am looking deep into why it was possible for the colonial masters to come in, even though our people resisted, but over time, they were able to overwhelm us. One of the things I am thinking, I'm bringing up, and I would like us to look into critically and deeply, is this. The mere fact that our people were not engaging their youngs, their future youths, into what they were doing, the secret of their worship, because we are talking about religion. I want to stay on religious path. We still see that thing going on today. And that is why it looks like our culture is going into extinct. There is this tendency for our people, when they're having discussions or when they're doing things, they don't really like to involve the younger ones. They feel they are not growing yet. They have a lot of secrets they keep to themselves. But they forget that we're organic beings. That if I have something in me, a knowledge in me that I did not write down or expose it to the next generation to carry on, when I die, I'm dying with those information. I'm dying with those knowledges. That is what happened to our people. Because even when you come to our way of worship today, or our ancient way of worship, ancestral way of worship, not too many of us can really tell us how these things were carried out. It becomes the reason why. Because that means the parents did not do a good job. Our ancestors did not do a good job transferring the knowledges they had from their own age to the subsequent future generations. And it's still happening today. Because in that society, in Nigeria as a whole, or even Africa, it's a place where you see they invest more on old people than younger people. That's what is happening in Nigeria today. For example, look at what is happening in the political arena. Look at all the old people who have been there for years, still trying to tell you they have a lot to give when they have already exhausted all their knowledges. They have made it impossible for the youth to take over, who have more potential, more knowledge, who are in tune with the evolution of how things are happening in life. But when you look at the time when Nigeria was, you can say, was at her best, you had younger generations, they were the leaders of Nigeria. Our eternal leader, at what age did he lead Biafra? Even go on as we speak, at what age did they lead Biafra? Or did he lead Nigeria? I mean to say, when you go back and look at those people, Okpara them, all those people, these people were at their prime age when they made impact in Nigeria. I won't know with them. When they made the serious impact they made, whatever development, which was the best time of Nigeria, these people were at their prime. What do I mean? Between 20 and 40 years old. We do not invest in our youth. We don't invest in our youngs. We kill them. We see them as rivals. That's one of the problems we have today.
Wanda, can I come in here in this thing you're saying, please? Because there is a point also I want to also maybe put for clarity. You know?
Yes.
You talk about our people, maybe our ancestors, our great-grandfathers, not investing on the young people. But I cannot completely agree. You know why? Let us look at the situation they face. You know, when this Christianity, the missionaries came to our land, you know, they had power. They were with the military. You know, they started seeing those that still practicing our traditional religion as renegades. You understand? So many of them entered, slipped into underground. Because if they see you, they can do you anything. That's why we call them ndioka, ndiokunoka. So people, and that time, the missionaries were targeting mostly the younger age, the young people, the young people, because they know that they are the future. So you imagine, there's, with a small idea, there's one man I saw in our place, very old man, very good man. Do you know what? He was the person, the custodian of the family, the culture in the kindred. Old man. The man, I think he died of frustration. Let me say, how can I say? Because even the son, the wife of the sons, all turned to born again. People started treating this man as an outcast. Okay, and he's a very good man. The man, out of, he will do something. For example, no person, even the food, no person will eat it. Imagine if it is you, how will you feel? The children were, hey, don't touch this thing, hey, don't near this man. The man was practically I'm still remembering this. This thing. Now I start understanding the man really died of a heartbreak. Because Mazi. So imagine that time. They ostracized the custodians of our culture, demonizing it. So young people, other people, women and young people start holding their children. Now don't touch this. So they became practically ostracized in our own land. So when you see, because this thing started happening even 17th, 18th century when Christianity entered our land, mostly. Now imagine how these people feel. Now even the children that carried it over after their fathers dead that time, they tried because they were discouraged by the church. If you touch this, you cannot, you become, the whole village will start being against you. Now you are touching here, they divided our land. So these people were acting on clandestinity. That is a secrecy in our own land, doing our own thing under clandestine. So that is the way I see it. That is why even they tried.
I'm not going to disagree with you completely, but I'm going to cite, this example.
Okay.
I believe because I've listened to you and I can tell some of the scholarly this thing you have made or where your mind can be. Do you know the discovery of Nangadi, right? The ancient manuscript that were discovered in Nangadi in Egypt.
Yes,
that is why we talk about the Apocryphas and all those books written,
yes.
They were saved in jars. You remember, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, why did those people, ancient people, put those manuscripts in the jar? It's exactly what you're trying to say. They were persecuted. They knew they may not survive. They knew they were going to extinct, but they did something marvelous. They wrote those, manuscripts. They wrote those things, saved them in the jar. They knew they were dying, but they wanted to make sure that the knowledge they had lived beyond them. That's what I'm trying to say. I am not here to argue that they were not persecuted. I am not here to argue that they were not ostracized. But again, it goes to what you and I discussed a little bit earlier. Gray areas. That we should stop looking at things or taking actions either black or white. I am not faulting our ancestors. I'm not saying that. But if they had found a way to preserve some of these things, I knew they were overwhelmed. But did anybody selflessly, on their own, took a conscious decision? I am going to make sure that this culture somehow is preserved, buried, kept somewhere that can be found. That is why we are talking about the apocryphal books or the other books of the Bible or the discovery at
Nangadi. Let me come in there. We are discussing. We are discussing about this issue. Let me come in there again. When you look at it, like when you give an example of Egypt, for example, you also see the situation. We were conquered by the British, complete and under occupation. Look, They looted our treasury. And also, when you look at the geographical situation of our land is a rainy forest area. It's not like Egypt. You know, what helped some of all these places is because they are in a desert or Sahel, arid area. It helped them. The other day I was watching a documentary of some preserved African things in Africa, like manuscripts in Mauritania, dating even 13th century, in Timbuktu in Mali. Why? And when they look at it, because even you see Europeans looted many, but these are the ones they were able to lay their hands on. In our own land, for example, our writing, we are not developed like that. And Britain, do you know what of the manuscript of Isibidi could they discovered? They taught everything. They said that they spread propaganda that this is the language of apes, taught by us by gorillas. That is officially what they did. What about the pyramid in Udi? They destroyed it completely. And the rain, many. Because our place, it rains a lot every year, almost 9 or 10 months a year. So this in Egypt, maybe it rains maybe 2-3 months. Sometimes, if not less than. So all these things helped also in destroying our thing. Look at our terracotta. Where do you see them today? Is it not in the British Museum in England? Is it not in European museums in Germany? Our Irish, everything, they carried it. They looted practically everything.
Look, I cited Egyptology for a reason, because when you're talking about, when you try to say we are, let me tell you, this is me. Most of us do not have the ability of selfless life. That's really where I was going, because we do not think about preserving the future for the future. Most of us believe in living for now on what we can get now, and that's what we are continuing to discuss.
You are right.
Even what is hunting us
you are right.
We are not thinking about living things for the future. It's not only about me. It's about what do I leave behind. What I'm trying to say, if we want to be honest and critically think about our society, these elders have this thing they call secret. I remember when I was growing up, when the elders are having conversation, they don't allow the kids to come around because they think you're too small to understand. You're too young to understand. This is the argument I'm making, not really on the physical, preservation
in that case,
of things.
you are
I'm talking about
completely right.
knowledge here. Handing it from one person to another person. I'm not saying that everybody could have bought into it. I'm not, because already the visionaries were there, and then corrupting our kids, converting our younger youth to go the way of the white man. But what I'm trying to say, that there was this collective drop of the ball where the elders did not insist on passing this information, because there's a lot of things that happen to us and we must address them. That's why it's like we're scrambling every time. You see where you come to a family where you have somebody who was the knowledge was there. But today you cannot find anybody that practices that. Okay, I'm not putting the blame purely on the fathers, but on the children too. But the argument I'm making here is that our society was such, or is still such, that when kids are growing up, we try to shield them from certain things because we think they're young. Where I live in Western society, it's a different ballgame. You start exposing the kids to something you think they need, even when they are very, very small. You start exposing them, they ask questions, you answer them. But even where we come from, the question you ask, they said, that's too small for you. It has an adage they say that children are supposed to be seen and not be heard. These are some of the elements that hindered us. And these are some of the things we must begin to address now. Because
even like in our language, let me fortify what you are saying.
Most of them, especially Biafran land, most of them are not political. What we're saying now, you talk to them about politics, they don't know. By the time they engage into politics, they've already been corrupted, because those who are going to bring them, groom them through the way, because they close every door for these young youths to come inside. So they're watching these old politicians, what they're doing. By the time they come into the political arena, they're already corrupted as much as those who were there. The trend continues. One of my arguments I'm trying to make here is that our society must allow, and that is when one of the reasons when Mazi, the recent 30th of May celebration, he instituted and he called out that we should be having seminars so that we can start educating our children, even where we are today in diaspora. Most of our children don't even know why we are fighting for this Biafra. They don't understand it. They are not engaged. They are not involved. Because some of us think that they're too young or they shouldn't know. But the argument becomes, if we do not, I believe that our generation, because if you pay attention, there's a particular generation who are seriously seeking for the actualization or restoration of Biafra. It's a particular generation. If, God forbid, we're not able to get it, what happens then? That's the argument. That's where I'm trying to go. That we as a society are not good in engaging our younger generation to things we are doing because we shield them. We think they're not smart enough. By the time that younger generation, you start involving them, they've already been corrupted by another culture. Then it becomes difficult for them. You come to where I am, Spanish people, Yoruba people, they start speaking Yoruba language in their home. They don't wait. Even the child is going to school, they don't care. We are the only society, immediately we have our child, we start speaking English to the child. By the time the child goes to school, trying to get that child to start hearing our dialect becomes a problem. These are the issues I'm trying to bring up because these are some of the things that helped us, but that helped the colonial masters to get us. What does that mean? It means that we don't really truly believe in psychological that what we have or who we are is equal to the other people. We allow ourselves to let people dictate or let us feel that what we have is inferior from our culture to our dialect to everything. We are willing to learn some other. You see a child that is born in Lagos, the child will speak Yoruba language, speak pidgin English, cannot speak
and
English.
we'll be proud of
When
it.
here I am, a Spanish child, a Yoruba child who speak Spanish, speak English, even though Yoruba, even though America is supposed to be a English-speaking language. But they make sure that they institute that. They don't wait until the child is small or they start into. That's what I'm trying to call out here. I'm not really talking about physical things, but if we go back, this is some of the things we've been suffering. We must engage our youth. We must engage our children, not even youth. Let them begin to be politically savvy. Let them get engaged. Let them, sometimes I believe there was some of our ancestors that did it. When they're going to a meeting, you see a little boy will carry their bag, and the child will sit down there and be listening. That's some of the things we must get back. If we must get politically savvy, we must engage our children to get involved early in age so that they can understand the game, master the game. Before they get to where they will start buying for political aspiration, they know the name of the game. But if we continue to go the way we are going, we don't engage them, we don't want them to be near, we continue to float these old people who have been there for years, achieve nothing for us, and then these children are watching them. By the time they get to the point where they're interested in politics, they're already corrupted. We continue to repeat the same mistake. That's what I was going to, Mazi.
Of course, you're right. Of course, you're right. Going on what we say, but do not forget that today we are still talking about.
Hear me, Mazi?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Wada, I can hear you. I don't know why you are.
Mazi.
Wada, I can hear you.
Hello. What happened?
As I was saying,
was, why I was doing that, that's what is called low self-esteem. When you begin to, allow other people to make you think that who you are or what you are, what you believe in is low, is better, what they believe in is better than your own. It's kind of low esteem. That's where you can go into conversion, And another reason could be escape from a reality that is like what is happening now in our society, the political arena that is going on, where the Fulanis are like the ones holding the four aces when it comes to politics. A lot of our people are converting into some religion, like what is happening in our place now. Some people are bringing in this Islamic thing in our place. Some people are converting. You are going to convert. They can get help from there. Okay, that's their main reason. And some people will be like, for political as positioning, they convert to that particular political. What some people like this Ojo Barakwa Imo State have done, and even the one from Ebonyi State. You know, they affiliate themselves with APC. You can see them now,
that they don't see it as anything. Some of our people don't see this as big thing. There's
some of the reasons the people who get converted, they convert. I just wanted to bring it up because it's not just the people that come to convert you or convert us that have a ulterior motive. People who get converted, some of them, if not most of them, have ulterior motive, and some of them are purely on sentimental reasons because they are going through some emotional trauma, and then they feel like nobody can help me. I'm being marginalized. Nobody's speaking on my behalf. So maybe if I convert to this particular religion because of what they have been telling me, God will fight for me. You know, so some of this emotional drama or trauma that makes people to convert from one religion to another. But the truth is that there's no particular religion that has a particular access to God. None whatsoever. All religions are basically the same. It's your relation, you know, it's an emotional calm down. That's what it is. I'm not saying there's no spiritualism. We are dealing with religion right here, Mazi. I'm going to stop for now and see how we navigate.
I think I have to rush it. We have to rush it more and more because you know we could not even go deeper into things. But I think this thing will continue.
Yes, Mazi.
It will continue, honestly. This teaching.
Yeah, even I have a lot of points I wanted to bring to
yes, but because of the time.
And then I think as we're taking it segment by segment so that people can continue to absorb it. We don't want to overwhelm this.
Yes. You know, as I said, in conclusion, as we know, the world is constantly engaged in a struggle for power. And it is those with less power who end up in compromise positions. You know, like what you said, said in conclusion, I mean, your last statement. You know, people will get into conversion because of one economic benefit or social benefit or the other. Okay. Once they get into that conversion, they know that they didn't go there with their hearts, but they are there already. Now, the danger is their family, their children, when they have children, their children will never know that their father or their mother or their parents entered this religion.
The real reason their parents converted.
Now it becomes their lineage religion. Do you see the danger?
Yes.
Maybe even if, for example, if it's Islam, maybe you go there just to get a contact with Al-Hajj and they will be giving you contracts. Okay. When you die, your children will continue. Maybe tomorrow, one of your children will be a suicide bomber. He didn't know that his father entered this thing just to get contracts. Do you see the danger? You don't play with fire. That is it. So, as I was saying,
danger, man, which is what happened to some of us, you know, when they were giving those people warrant chiefs and all those criminal warrant chiefs, you know, they converted to Christianity. Their children grew up. They didn't know why their father became Christian.
Yes.
So they continued. And that the people defending it today. Meanwhile, the real purpose, the real reason why their parents were so-called converted to Christianity and left the traditional religion were never revealed to them. Again, not discussing with the family your things you do. It goes back there.
Okay. As one Norwegian sociologist, called Johan Goltung, would refer to our situation as one of cultural violence, norms that allow direct and structural reforms or structural forms of violence to seem acceptable. He's talking about even evangelism. Religious evangelism could also be seen as a cultural warfare, unleashing
Yes.
cultural violence, albeit mentally. So, where do we go from here? How do we begin to dismantle religious supremacy? And how do we hold our faith as true and worth believing, while not thinking ourselves to be better than those who believe differently from us? What do we learn from other decolonizing efforts? Is that we must begin with a double move that accounts for the reality that everything around us, including ourselves, has been colored by these outlooks. This is the creation of awareness. First, to understand that we were forced into what we religiously believe today via hard and soft forces. Remember, hard and soft forces. You see, hard forces is hard force is direct. If you believe they, or don't believe, they slaughter you, or they can impose a tax, special tax on you as an infidel, as they do in many Islamic countries. If you can be there as a non-Muslim, like in Iran, but you'll be paying, or in Afghanistan, but you'll be paying some taxes. What the Sharia accepts it. That is it. So this is a hard force. But soft force is, they are not, no person is beating you or hitting you, but they give privileges to when you convert to their religion, what they want you to convert. They give you privilege. Yes. They can give you employment. You can get employment easily, like in Nigeria. Look at our youth corpers. If they go to North to serve 1 year, before you know, they'll give if you convert now you get a job. They will give you one job quickly. These are soft forces. You can get loan very easy as a Muslim. If you're a woman that was answering Chidebere, now you become Salimat. Now you can get in a more formal. You can get loan easily. These are soft forces to entice you. All these are the same. These are the same. To acknowledge the true motive of these religious conversions and to the best of our abilities, understand how it shows up in our world, and also to go within ourselves and identify the ways in which we have been tainted by this toxic ideology.
Yes,
this is what IPOB via Radio Biafra London is doing. It is only once we take these measures that we could understand and emancipate ourselves from these mental and physical chains in order to advance as a people. Go on, Wada, please, so that I will open.
Mazi, you just summed it up. What I was trying to be, just summed it up. So that is, I will kind of try to so what we have to do is to have an attempt, which is what we are doing, to resolve this unconscious inner conflict. That's what it really is. Where you have, because of what you want to gain in life, you sell off who you are. Because just a particular culture is unique. It didn't just happen. It's something nature has created. Every culture is unique. And there is strength in their uniqueness. There is beauty in their uniqueness. When you begin to acknowledge that I did not happen by accident. If I begin to, people who will hear me anytime I say, I am from Umunoha. I invoke the deity in my place. Igwekala. I don't worship Igwekala. I don't serve Igwekala. But that deity was there before even my father, my great-grandfather were born. He's part of that society. I don't have to worship. I don't have to go to that shrine. But I must acknowledge that that is part of who I am. That is how we must start navigating life. You are not by accident. I'm not by accident to find myself in that geographical location with a culture that is so unique and beautiful, just like every other culture is. Once we begin to arrive at that mental elevation or awakening, then you begin not to see yourself as inferior, but equal among others. And when you have that level of psychology, that level of self-awareness and willness, then you don't allow people to just convert you for whatever reason. you will know that you must maintain this culture. You must maintain who you are, that uniqueness of who you are, because there's a reason why there's this diversion in life. There's the reason why there are different cultures. It's unique when you say mosaic. That's what the word is. No culture is better than the other. We are all important when we come together and we come as one. But individually, their uniqueness, you cannot let it somebody else tell you that what they have is better than you. Because at the fullness of time, we are important of the mosaic of this world. This is where what Radio Biafra is trying to do. This is what a program like this is trying to do. And that's why we continue to insist and let people know we are not here to cast aversion to any particular religion. What we are trying to bring here is get us to that mindset that our religion, our traditional religion, is as good as any other religion. Our ancestors were not mistakes. They were not stupid. They were not foolish. After all, the way they had the society, the only thing was, if they had been left alone, if they had succeeded in overcoming the people that came and colonized them, our religion would have been the president one today. Does it make it better than the other one? No. But because our ancestors understood and had respect for individuals, respect for cultures, they understood that. We bring somebody like me to the argument. They knew better than even us or the colonizers. Our ancestors knew better than the colonizer because they had respect for people's culture and everything. But these people, they purely came for conquest. They used their organized religion, because this religion we're talking about, the organized religion, the pure motive of every organized religion is for conquest, political conquest and psychological conquest, so that they can have their will over you, make you feel less inferior, so that they can now supersede their own religion and culture, even though they are aware that their culture is not better than yours, because there's no perfect culture. But the main reason or their main goal is for conquest. And this is something we must get and begin to understand the beauty in us and exploit them and grow as a people and evolve and move on so that we can catch up with the world now. That's where I'm going to end today.
We shall go into a few minutes break as usual, so that when we come back, our lines will be opened. Please don't go away.
Biafra worldwide phone call campaign alert continues. BBC, a propaganda machine and racist media set up by the Great Britain to oppress the oppressed people of Biafra. BBC, your media war propaganda of 1967 that led to the genocide of over 3.5 million Biafrans, men, women, and children, did not stop us. Do you know why? Because we are the sons and daughters of the great lion from the tribe of Biafra. Our minds are made up. Your shenanigans, antics, and fake gutter media will not stop us either. We must and shall restore Biafra. Biafra worldwide phone call campaign alert continue. Now pay close attention. Be polite when you call BBC and use the following prompt when you call. Hello, my name is. You tell them your name. I am calling to ask about BBC policy of propaganda against the victims of genocide. Since you are obsessed with telling lies about Biafrans, here are 5 more questions to consider. Now, this is the question to ask BBC. We are witnesses to BBC racist coverage of terrorism, implying that Black Africans' lives don't matter. Yet the same BBC rallies the whole world at the slightest terrorist incident in the United Kingdom. Here is the second question. But when it comes to Nigeria, BBC not only hides terrorist killings, but they slander the victims and survivors of terrorism and genocide. The third one, when will the grand patrons of lies and hypocrisy, the BBC Fake News Network, make a documentary about the daily slaughtering of Nigerians by Fulani terrorists and the government of Nigeria, whom you protect so that London may plunder Biafran's resources? The fourth question is the oil and gas of Biafra, the reason that BBC is obsessed and terrified by the agitation for freedom by the victims of 400 years of British colonial thievery and crimes against humanity. And the fifth one, we call on the good people of the world to ask BBC and UK government why it aids and abates the genocide in Nigeria by spreading lies, propaganda, and disinformation against Biafran freedom fighters. BBC, we know that you are United Kingdom government agents of imperialism with no modicum of shame. Take down your wicked fake documentary against the victims of genocide and stop your sadistic meddling in the lives of Black Africans. Now pay close attention. This is the time to call BBC. You can call them 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Biafran time. Date 4th of July to 30th of September 2022. Now grab your pen and paper and pay close attention. You can call BBC switchboard on this number +44 2087 438,000. I repeat, +44 208 743 8000. Or you can tweet at BBC News. You can also call BBC Customer Service +44 3700 100 222. I repeat, +44 3700 100 222. Or you can also tweet at BBC Press. I have not finished. You can also call BBC Studios Limited +44 208 433 2000. I repeat, +44 208 433 2000. You can also email BBC News Channels at bbc.co.uk. BBC, we shall vanquish. BBC, do you know why? Because we are Biafrans.
Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra Hausa service coming to you through the auspices of Radio Biafra London. I know that our time is fast spent, but it is worth it, please. Although we started late, but it doesn't matter. Our direct line is +1 213 328 6224. I repeat, +1 213 328 6224. Our WhatsApp and Signal line is +61 405 142 547. I think let me see. I have a direct line caller. The first caller is calling on direct line. Let me see. Caller on direct line. Can you hear me? Let me see whether it's still there. Yeah. Caller on direct line. Can you hear me, please? Can call back. My goodness me. Let me see. Let me see. Our lines are now open, as I said. so that people can call. I had a caller on direct line, but one thing led to the other and the call went off. But I know it will come back. Yes, coming back. Caller on direct line, can you hear me now? Caller on direct line. Direct line, can you?
The topic you have today that you are dissecting, which has to do with mental enslavement. Two enslavements, first with gun and chain, which brought most of our people over to this part of the world, you know, America here, and also the Caribbeans, who pretty much work for this same imperialists. Most of them were castrated, literally castrated, bleeding, sentenced to work and die in plantations. And it was done by these same so-called Christians.
Of course.
So-called Christians. You know, you have struck a nerve right here. Yesterday, somebody was asking me, said, do you know the first president of Mexico was a black person? And it's traceable back to the bite of Biafra, you know. And in fact, here in America, the first president was a black person. And when you trace the history, we have the demographic floated out, you know, shared around. Back a few years ago, our POB platform shared it. About 80-something% of those brought in this particular atmosphere were from the bite of Biafra, all right? And pretty much our own people. So when I see African American, I see my own people, I see my blood, even those from Caribbeans. And we got to learn some things from them as well, while they are asking questions. So Christianity is, if you listen to the Polish president few months ago, am I still on the air?
Mazi, you are. The whole world is listening to you. Go on, please.
Okay. Few months ago, he made a comment in a conference. He said Christianity is a white philosophy in which they build their own country and society. White philosophy. And he said it came out of Greeks and Romans. Now, if you know the wickedness of these two countries, what they have committed against Israel and also against so many other people, pretty much that entire part of Europe, whether they call them Western. I don't really call them Western. You know, all of them, those particular countries who were in Berlin conference. And 6 million Jews were killed. Nobody said nothing. I think you know the history. You know, nobody said nothing until a point. All right? Romans, the Greeks have plundered Jewish Israel so many times. If you've heard about the Maccabees were a tribe, the tribe of Judah, young men that withstood the Greeks and the Syrians they brought, that wanted to force and impose Christianity on Israel, Jewish Israel. The Maccabee, calling armed men, stood up and defended the land of Jewish Israel from such ideology being imposed and also forced into them. All right? You know, when we look at our own history as a people, like we were analyzing here, how did our ancestors permitted these were unable to constrain or restrain it? You know, somebody with a gun and somebody who just has free conscience, thinking that a visitor is genuinely a visitor. That was their pretty much their own. I could say that was their situation then. As we look at Japan, they went with Christianity. Japan, literally, in their return back to subjugate Japan defended themselves against this intruder, and they ran away. All right, and
Mazi, can I say something here? Mazi, please. Mazi, just hold on a bit. Let me say something here, please, before you continue, because what you're saying is interesting. Now, you know, like example you gave, which we have been given here about Japan, it shows that after shows that after it shows that after the one you want. Otherwise, they will put it as if without this one, you cannot get this one. Mazi, please go on.
all right. Now, this is it. That is called, you know, there was an area that you people struck the nerve. You talked about the leaders those cheering and propagating so-called Christianity, that ideology, you know, some in our place, some in Oduduwa, that those are the catalysts of the monopoly on those who are the foot soldiers on the street propagating Christianity. Let me give you an example. I'm an Orthodox Jew, you know, it's pretty much like Omenala. It's way of ancestor. You think with your common sense, not being literally subjugated with an ideology that control you, telling you heaven here, heaven there. You're going to inherit eternal life there. That's what Christianity says to people. And if you remember, our ancestor always said that human being reincarnate. Do you remember that, Mazi?
Of course.
We grew up knowing that.
Of course, of course.
Reincarnate. Now, you ask yourself questions. If this Christianity is real, they're telling those who are their prey, who they have literally plundered their land, the street of God, they're promising them, using them to loot their gold for them. South Africa is an example, and Zimbabwe. They looted, subjugated them. They clouded from all over. Wherever they live, these white folks came to Zimbabwe, looting gold, and then bringing our people to build houses and streets of gold for them to live comfortably, 24/7 life. Remember, white folks don't invent nothing, these particular countries. In fact, British, shameful British, that's what I call them, that's who they are. They never stayed in their land and developed. They were like Fulani, even up to now, moving up and down. So is that kind of a person that can give you a quality of life or idea that is creative enough for you to be self-reliant? You know, the problem we have is we were cut off from history. We don't transcend history, and that goes back to the ancestors. At a point, through these intruders, they manipulate and twist people's mind. Christianity is the perfect tool they use, that ideology. A Jew cannot go about converting people to Judaism. No, even Buddhists and Hindus. Have you heard of them going about converting people?
Of course, no. I used to say it here. The only two religions that are is Islam and Christianity.
They intertwine. Matter of fact, it's Rome that propagated Islam. Are you aware of that? And even in British New York Times, just about 2.5 years, wrote it. It was in New York Times that they are direct descendants of Muhammad. All right? All this is in archive. And when you tell our people that these folks that brought you Christianity, they are Muslim, that's why they are supporting Islam. Look at what our sister said about so-called consular of the evil British moving from one end to another, mobilizing the Arab Muslims and all that. They are the people arming them against our people. And why is this being done? Because they hate us. All right? We are a Republican in nature, democratical, organic people. They learn modern day Republican democracy from our own people. They took it from us. They took it like in Sibiri. That was our pattern of education. Any fool jumping, I have to use that word, jumping around to say, oh, they brought them education, they brought. That person is out of touch with reality. How did your ancestors build some things? Like you people mentioned about Ndenaba Aba Okona Aka in those days, you know, chiropractors, physical therapists, local trained physical therapy. It was through the process of our education system that produced them. They were experts. Even my dad was also part of that, you know? Yes. So these folks, they came with entrenched wickedness, complete entrenched thought out a map out plan, a way to literally enslave and subjugate our people. Us, we have to demolish all this. And IPOB, I think, Hashim, Chukwuabiama from Mazi Carlo, that come out and have literally carried our people along to take our people back to who we are, so we can have dignity and respect again as a people. And it's happening, and it's happening. Nothing can stop it. Christianity is simply, it's Nazism. It's supremacy of somebody imposing on a people that they pray on to become a subject. To become a subject, a slave. That's what it is. That's what it is. Just look at most of the Arab Muslim countries. They are well developed. Who developed Dubai is the evil British. We have the whole information. They invested and developed Dubai. What about Hong Kong? Who developed? Is the same. They are Buddhists. So if somebody is telling anybody that Christianity brings about development and that fool is jumping around, stupidity. A society is organically developed by the people of the land based on their own choice, ideology, and structure, way of life, how they want it to be developed. And that organic process was literally intercepted by this imperialist, wicked, evil folks. Africa is the worst place that took the greatest hit, because our people were so naive to just give up and give up. China never did, gave them room. In the space of 20 years, China have vastly industrialized than any country on the planet. Every corner of China is highly developed, even more than here in America, yes. Infrastructure is unspeakable. They are Buddhists or Hindu. In fact, their religion doesn't play a role. It's rules and regulations, just as we talk about IPOB structure. All right? You know, IPOB structure. That's what governs America. That's what governs America. You know, public society, where everybody here follows the rules and the regulations. They don't follow religion. They don't follow ideology. They follow the rules which the people of the land determines the government, how it goes. That's the kind of structure we had before these people came and began to demolish. We don't want Christianity in Biafra. Of the crusade against Israel, who were Christians. You know, our people are so cut off from history. They don't understand some terms and some words. When they say crusade, crusaders were militias. You know, they are supported by all white folks, Christians, you know, into committing such unspeakable wickedness. These folks wipe out Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jew in those European countries, from Spain to Portugal, all the way to British, all over. They killed them repeatedly. Most of them, they went to Russia. They were protected. That's why you have huge amount of Jews coming from Russia to this country, America, who made it. that went to Israel and repeatedly destroyed land of Israel, subjugated it repeatedly. So Christianity, when somebody mentions crusade, they're going for crusade. What they are talking about is conquest. Conquest. Subdue, conquer, subdue, conquer, plunder, and enslave. That's what it is. Islam and Christianity is only the religion that goes about propagating, trying to convert people if they can. All right? And the only motive is to subjugate them and enslave them. We have to bring our people out of such mental enslavement, even as we have freedom physically, to let them know, just as you have narrated, that you as a person, you walk just like everybody else. Nobody is greater than you or better than you. I'm not better than anybody. I am just as good as anybody. As good as anybody. We can industrialize Biafra within a space of 6 months. We have everything it takes. What have intercepted and interrupted all these is the same white folks who brought them Christian, then Arab Muslim, who are their own people, to continue carrying on their intention, original intention, which is disenfranchisement, subjugation, impoverishment. There's not a country on planet Earth developed by Christians. No country. No country. Ideas, common sense is what develop a country. All right? Common sense, people. You know, this Shabbat, I just want to thank all of you, IPOD, and all our media team, Mazi Carlo, DPOS. And Biafra is a free country. When I listen to the beginning of the narrative of, of somebody, whether from Arewa, I kind of see the deep hate against us. And they mention we are Jews. Many of us have not taken note of that. And many of us haven't. And there is a paradigm shift. Biafra is a free country. Ojukwu fought selflessly. That is a model of a Biafran. That is a model of a Biafran, a true Biafran. A true Biafran. And he used even his father's money to protect our people and said, when you step into this, you are in Biafra. When you step into this boundary, you are in Biafra, and it stands forever. Like Mazi was saying, I was going through one of his messages 3 days ago. Bites of Biafra is an ancient country, landscape that has been there, just like it is looking. All right? And we as a people who occupy that land never killed